Jesus opens and no one can shut. In Revelation 3:7, Jesus declares, "These are the words of him who is holy and true, who holds the key of David. What he opens no one can shut, and what he shuts no one can open." This statement is a profound assertion of absolute authority, but this raises a critical question. If Jesus isn't God, why does he have such authority? Tonight, we will explore this claim, examine its significance, and challenge skeptics and non-believers to confront this undeniable truth. The imagery of holding the key of David is deeply symbolic. In the Old Testament, the key of David represents authority over the house of David, a royal and messianic lineage. By claiming to hold this key, Jesus is asserting his authority as the promised Messiah and King. But his authority goes even further. He declares that what he opens no one can shut, and what he shuts no one can open. This is not the language of a mere human leader or prophet. This is the language of someone who possesses ultimate, unchallengeable authority that belongs to God alone. Skeptics often argue that Jesus was just a moral teacher or a revolutionary figure, but no human, no matter how influential, could claim the kind of authority Jesus describes here. The ability to open and shut with absolute finality is a divine prerogative. In Isaiah 22:22, the key of David is mentioned in connection with God's sovereign control. By applying this imagery to himself, Jesus is making a direct claim to divine authority. If he were not God, his words would be the height of arrogance or delusion. But if he is telling the truth, then he is indeed God, the one who holds ultimate power over all things. To the skeptics and non-believers listening tonight, I pose this challenge. Disprove this claim. If Jesus is not God, then explain how he could claim such absolute authority. Explain how his life, teachings, and miracles align so perfectly with the character and will of God. Explain how he could fulfill hundreds of prophecies, rise from the dead, and transform the lives of countless individuals throughout history. If Jesus is not God, then provide an alternative explanation that accounts for the evidence. The evidence is overwhelming. Jesus' authority is not an isolated claim. Throughout the Gospels, we see him demonstrating divine power, forgiving sins, calming storms, healing the sick, and raising the dead. These actions are not the works of a mere man. They are the works of God. In Matthew 28:18, after his resurrection, Jesus declares, "All authority in heaven and on earth has been given to me." This is not the language of someone who is merely representing God. This is the language of someone who is God. Perhaps you're thinking, but what if I'm wrong? What if Jesus really is who he says he is? That's a question worth considering, because if he is, then your understanding of authority and your eternal destiny hinge on how you respond to him. The authority of Jesus is not just a theological concept, it's an invitation to submit to his lordship, to experience his grace, and to walk in the freedom he offers. But the choice is yours. Will you accept his authority, or will you continue to deny the truth? Tonight, I leave you with this challenge. Examine the evidence. Wrestle with the claims of Christ. Seek the truth with an open heart and mind, because the stakes are too high to ignore. Jesus opens and no one can shut, because he is God, the one who holds ultimate authority. The question is, will you let him open the door to eternal life for you? The choice is yours. Choose wisely.